Hello, and today we are going to make a lemon meringue pie. I try to always make a birthday dessert for my friends. They each have their own likes, and I'm not always able to spend a lot of money on birthday gifts, but I can always bake them their dessert. So my friend Erin, who started me on this journey of YouTube and of sewing and quilting, her birthday is tomorrow, and she has requested a lemon meringue pie. So this recipe is my grandmother's recipe. It's the pie that I make for my sister in September for her birthday because it's her favorite. So right now I have one of my homemade pie crusts that I had thawed. I have it already rolled out and in the pie shell, and it is pre-baking in the oven at 350 until it starts to get brown, and then I'll pull it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to make the filling for the pie. Now this filling is not difficult, but it is a little time consuming. But what we're going to do, and then we'll move over to the stove, but I'm setting this up at a different angle to see if this is a better setup as far as the lighting and so forth. So you can let me know what you think on that. So I am going to start out with 1.5 cups of sugar. And then to that, I will add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour with a dash of salt. And I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. That will all be your thickener, and I just made a mess. Not a live video without a mess, and not cooking with me without a little bit of a mess. So let me wash my hands real quickly. Okay. Now I'm going to get some hot water running, because to these 4 items in the saucepan, I am going to add 1.5 cups of hot water. So now we have 1.5 cups of hot water. I'll just leave that over here if I need it. So I'm going to stir those up really well. Try to get some of those lumps out. Now as you cook this, those lumps obviously will break down and dissolve, and this will all just become a wonderful thick custard. Okay, now what we're going to do is, before I start cooking this, I want to have my other ingredients ready to go, because once this gets thick, then you're going to want to start adding your other ingredients. So I have 3 eggs that I need to break up, and I want to keep the whites. Now this is going to be a meringue pie versus the Cool Whip, or whipped topping, Dream Whip, or whatever pie. This will have the cooked meringue on it. Some people don't care for the cooked meringue, and this pie would be just as good if it was made with a non-dairy whipped topping. But my grandma always made this one with the meringue on it. And that's how we grew up with it. So that's how I'm going to make this one. Having meringue is just a little more time and effort put into making the pie for someone. I mean, the non-dairy whipped topping is fine and tastes great, but when you go the extra mile to do the meringue, that's really special. Okay, so I have my eggs broken up because we will be adding these egg yolks a little at a time. And the egg whites, I'm going to go ahead and put into my stand mixer over here because those will be used to, I will beat those up with a little bit of sugar and spread that on to bake for the meringue later. But for now, I will go ahead and put those in the mixer. Okay. Now, we are also going to be using lemon juice. You can use store-bought lemon juice. There is not a thing wrong with using that. But I myself love to keep fresh lemons on hand. So with that, this is going to have fresh lemon juice. So I'm going to cut these lemons up. First, I need to grate a little bit. I'm going to need about a tablespoon, I think it is. Sorry, I have to keep looking back at this, but this was my grandma's and I want to make sure I do every step correctly on it. A half a teaspoon of grated lemon peel. Okay, so I'm just going to take this little grater here. I have a longer one, but this one I keep out where it's so handy. A older lady that I used to go to church with many, many years ago. Her name was Mildred Bachman. I called her my little Mildred. She was such a sweet lady. And her son, one of her sons, was actually in my graduating class and was one of my husband's best friends. So we had a little connection there. But she gave this little grater to me one time because she knew I loved to make pies. She said, oh, this will be perfect for you to grate chocolate on top of your chocolate pie or lemons or anything when you don't need a lot, just a little. So I'm going to try to get this. This lemon is not wanting to zest very well. But as long as I get a little bit in there, sometimes a little bit will go a long way on the fresh zest, especially since you're using the fresh lemon juice as well. Okay. We will call that good on that. There's some up there. All right. Check my pie crust here a minute. It's doing fine. Now that pie crust did not go all the way to the top of the pie shell. And that's okay in the case of this lemon meringue because that filling is going to be in there and you're going to have your meringue on the top. So it will turn out to be just fine. Now I am going to there's my little knife here. Okay. I'm going to take these lemons And I need a 1/3 cup of fresh lemon juice. This is a juicer. I purchased this at a yard sale quite some time ago. And it does come in handy. It's old-fashioned, but that's all right. Don't have one of the fancy juicers. But I'm just looking for a 1/3 of a cup. Get this other half in. Then we'll see how much we've got here. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could always save those lemons, put them in a pan on your stove with some water, or take those lemons and scrub out your microwave with them. They're good for that too. All right, let's see how much juice we've got now. Well, no, we're going to have to go longer here. I usually keep some bottled lemon juice around here, and I think I have some, but it's up high in the pantry. Not very easy for me to get to without a step stool. Need to have that gotten down for me. Okay, I'll get these seeds out. That is the only bad thing about this is the seeds, but fresh lemons make a lot of difference. Okay, getting close. One trick some people I have seen do is take the lemon and roll it on your counter before you cut it and try to juice it, and that helps release some of the juices. I probably should have done that, but I think we're going to be okay. Well, all right. Just stick with me. I know this seems like it's quite a process, but it is definitely worth it. Okay, we are so close. I'm going to have to do at least half of a lemon here. Okay, before I go any further, I can smell my pie crust. So I'm going to get that out. Shut that off for now. I'm going to let this cool. It did not cover everything, but like I said, it doesn't really have to, because you're going to have all the filling and the meringue, and that is the most important part. My mom's favorite pie was always chocolate, so that is one that I will make for you at some point. Homemade chocolate pie is amazing. And for my cousins who are watching, Bruce and Kathy, that doesn't mean chocolate pudding. That'll mean a cooked chocolate filling. Okay, that gets us our 1/3 cup, and I still have my half a lemon left I can use, slice up for other things. So that took about 2½ medium lemons. Now I'm going to take this over to the stove. And I will try to move my camera over here so you can maybe see this better. I'm just trying to learn on these cameras and what works and what doesn't, and it's really hard sometimes to get it just right. Okay, and then I'll just have to pull this up to you. So I am going to cook this for 8 minutes, and then when the 8 minutes is done and this starts to get a little bit thick, I'm going to add my egg yolks and then return it to boiling for 4 minutes, stirring it all the time. And when I get to that point, I'm going to come back on and we'll finish up the filling from there. Okay, we are back. This has been cooking for a little while now, and it's starting to get nice and thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the hot mixture. This is called tempering, so that you don't have cooked eggs in your filling. So you will take a little bit of the hot mixture and just mix it in with these eggs, a little at a time, to kind of warm them up a little. That way they don't start cooking. Then you add these into the hot mixture and you just stir. Get it all stirred up nice and good, so you don't have cooked scrambled eggs in your filling. That would not be a good thing. But the eggs do have to cook for health purposes. So we are going to cook this now. And we're going to bring it back up to a boil. So I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. Then to this, I am going to add the little bit of the lemon zest that I got. So we'll put that lemon zest in there. Get that stirred up really well. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. I keep my butter out. Some people might not, but I just always do with real butter. I just leave it out. So now I've got my 2 tablespoons of butter going. You don't want to not be stirring this, or it'll scorch. Now, as that is going, I will slowly stir in my 1/3 cup of fresh lemon juice that I squeezed, or the bottled. As I said, you can do the bottled too. Slowly add that. Keep stirring this really well. I don't have a dishwasher here, never have had a dishwasher, so I always have a sink full of dishes when I'm done, but that's okay. That just means I've been blessed with the ingredients to prepare things. is how I look at that. All right, now here is the lemon filling, and it smells wonderful. So I'm going to take our crust here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this into the pie crust. Now, this is going to have to sit and cool to room temperature before I can put the meringue on there and bake it. So for right now, I'm going to set this back over here on the counter. You can see how that looks. We're going to let it cool to room temp. And once it has cooled, then I will be back and I will show you how to make a meringue. It won't take it long to bake, and then you can see the finished product. We will not be cutting into this pie, however, since it is a birthday gift. But you will be able to see it as the meringue is finished. So I will be back in a little bit after that cools. Okay, we are back. The pie has cooled to room temperature. So now I have the 3 egg whites in my electric mixer here. To that, I am going to add a teaspoon of lemon juice. I did happen to was able to get my lemon juice out of the pantry, and I buy the huge bottles at Sam's of the real lemon juice. I have also used the generic forms of lemon juice from Aldi's or wherever, but this was a special deal, and I have a lot of problems with kidney stones, so I try to drink lemon juice in my water as much as possible. So we are going to put this on high, and we are going to let this go to a soft peak. Now, a soft peak is going to be where you can just take this little, take a spoon or anything, and it'll just barely peak when you tap it with a spoon. The stiff peaks are going to be when they stand up. You tap it and it stands straight up. But a soft peak is just going to be very light. Once this gets to the soft peak, I'm going to gradually add in 6 tablespoons of sugar, which is almost, I think this is the third cup measurement here, I believe. So, okay, now let me check this. Okay, yes, we have very soft peaks. So now I'm going to just gradually add in a little bit of the sugar at a time. And we're going to beat this until it gets stiff peaks. And the sugar has dissolved in it. Okay, there's the rest of the sugar. Now we're just going to let this, I know it's very loud, sorry. We'll get this to a good stiff peak. Let me check it here. Doesn't take it long. Okay, this is a stiff peak when it's just standing like this. Very sturdy. All right, so now I'm going to take my wooden spoon. There. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to spoon this on top of the pie. I'll have to show you here in a minute. Trying to get this all situated with the camera. It's been a little difficult here. Let me try a little bit more light. It's a learning process for sure with the cameras and the angles. So I want to get this all on here. Make a nice pile of meringue. I think this is one of the best meringues I've actually made. This has turned out really well. So I'm going to make sure it gets to the edges so that it kind of seals up on the edges. Do that first, and then I can decorate the top. I had to change shirts because it got a little warm in here in the kitchen when I had the oven on. All right, and then I'm going to, okay, here's the meringue, and I'm just going to do this and make nice peaks on top. And then this is going to go in the oven until the meringue is browned on top. So I will be back to show you the finished pie with the browned meringue. And here we have the finished pie. Nicely browned on top. It looks great. Erin, I hope you will enjoy this and have a wonderful birthday. And I will see you all the next time.